Welcome everyone to this hybrid meeting of the Policy and Resources Committee. I would remind all attendees that this meeting is being recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. I have agreed the attendance of some members remotely and would remind all remote attendees to mute their microphones when not speaking. For any members of the public watching, please note that all the public committee reports, including details of specific recommendations, are available on the Council's website. Thank you. Item 1, apologies and substitutes.
Thanks. We have apologies for Councillor Cheap, Councillor Nicholl and Councillor Shepherd, with Councillor Durno, Councillor Fotheringham and Councillor Clark attending as substitutes.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest and statements of transparency. Councillor Durno.
I've got a declaration of interest on item 8. I have a small flower business and attend Craft Boots as a trader. I will leave the room when the item's been discussed. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll have a statement of transparency in relation to the Common Good Funds. And it's the application by Strathmore Rugby in relation to work they're doing. Just to say that I actually visited Strathmore Rugby to find out the type of work that they actually carry out, but of no other interest, and I will stay in the meeting and vote. Councillor Nicholl.
Like yourself, Councillor Meakin, I was also in attendance at that meeting, so just for transparency, but I won't remove myself from the meeting.
Sorry, Councillor Speed.
Yeah, thank you. Just a statement of transparency in relation to agenda item number 8. I have been involved in correspondence with a couple of the car boot sale organisers and council officers in relation to these matters, and I have advised in terms of the procedure, in terms of committees and the committee cycle and timings of meetings and how to make a deputation request. However, I will still remain in the meeting.
Thank you for that. If there are no others, then we'll move on to item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. Can we agree that these are a true record of the previous meeting? Great, thank you. Moving to item 4, possible exclusion of public and press. The committee will be asked to consider in terms of standing order 27(2) whether the public and press should be excluded during consideration of items 10 to 12 so as to avoid the disclosure of information which is exempt in terms of Part 1 of Schedule 7A to the Local Government Scotland Act 1973. Do we need a decision on that now? Is that agreed? Thank you. Also, a deputation request has been received from Dorothy Archer and Linda Ramsey in relation to item 8, use of council land for the operation of car boot sales. Miss Archer and Miss Ramsey would like to speak about the maximum number of car boot sales allowed in 12 months and the proposed new fee, including application to bookings already made. Do members agree to hear this request? Thank you. Moving on, we will hear that deputation just before item 8. Moving on to item 5, appointment of subcommittee members, officers groups and other groups. And if we take these in turn, we will start with the executive subcommittee. There are 3 member positions on this group. And if I make a start, is that okay? Our proposals for the group are myself, Councillor Meakin, and Councillor Derek Wan.
And Councillor Duff.
Thank you. Oh yes, sorry, proposers and seconders. There's a seconder, Councillor, okay. And seconder for my proposal. There we go. Councillor Fotheringham. The next one on the list is Appeals Subcommittee. Again, 3 elected members. And for myself, Councillor Meehan and Councillor Ronnie Proctor. And my seconder is Councillor Nicholl.
I'll propose myself again, Councillor Duff.
Is that okay? Moving on, Appointment Subcommittee. Our proposals are myself, Councillor Meehan, Councillor Derek Wan and Councillor Ronnie Proctor. Seconder, Councillor McLaren. Yourself?
I would propose myself, Councillor Duff, Councillor Bell and Councillor Whiteside.
And your seconder? Councillor Beattie. Next one up is the Grants Subcommittee. Our proposals are myself, Councillor Meehan, Councillor Louise Nicholl and Councillor Ian McLaren. Seconder, Councillor Fotheringham. Councillor Duff.
Can I propose myself, Councillor Duff, Councillor Beattie and Councillor Bell?
Thank you. The next one is Non-Domestic Rates Subcommittee.
Seconder is Councillor Beattie.
Yes. Non-Domestic Rates Subcommittee. Proposal is myself, Councillor Meehan and Councillor Derek Wan. Seconder, Councillor Fotheringham. Councillor Duff.
Myself, Councillor Duff.
Thank you. Moving on, we've now on to Central Consultative Committee. As myself, Councillor Meehan, Councillor Derek Wan, Councillor Ronnie Proctor and Councillor Heather Dorn. Councillor Duff.
Myself, Councillor Duff and Councillor MacDonald.
And anyone else? Councillor Speed.
Yeah, I'd also like to propose myself for this one. Second.
Sorry about that. I think we need a vote then, as we have too many.
Thanks, convener. I'll just go to the vote. So
Councillor MacDonald's indicating that he'll happily come off. It's a once-a-year meeting, as I understand it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Just to confirm, the appointments are the required councillors, Councillor Meehan, Wan, Doran and Proctor, and then we have Councillor Duff and Councillor Speed.
Okay, moving on. Our next one is Capital Project Monitoring Group. And for ourselves, we propose Councillor Ian Gall and myself, Councillor Meehan. Seconder, Councillor Louise Nicholl. Councillor Duff.
Yes, I'd propose myself, Councillor Duff.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. I'd like to propose myself as well for this one.
And a
Thank you.
seconder, Councillor Cowdy.
Convener, can I just reiterate the point about political balance? I would certainly expect one member of the opposition to be on that 3-member group. That's certainly always been custom and practice.
Convener, just to confirm, that is the case, that has been custom and practice for appointments to this committee to be based on political balance, which would mean that the non-aligned member would not be entitled to a place.
Councillor Speed.
I'll just have to accept that position, although I do question it in terms of councillors' codes and the right for every councillor, regardless of political affiliation, to have the same opportunities as everyone else.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, yeah, we need to appoint a chair. Our proposal is myself, Councillor Meehan.
Seconder.
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 Councillor
Nicol.
Yeah, Nicol. And the final one on this list is the Governance Review Group. Our proposals are myself, Councillor Meehan, Councillor Scott, and Councillor Gregg.
And the seconder.
Seconder, Councillor Fine. Councillor Speed.
Yeah, I'd also like to nominate myself for the Governance Review Group.
And seconder, Councillor Cowdy.
I'd like to nominate myself, Councillor Duff, Councillor Devine and Councillor Beattie.
Thank you. Yeah, that. Councillor Beattie. So we have one too many, so we will require a vote.
Point of clarification.
Yes, please go ahead.
Given the nature of the governance member officer working group, would it not be sensible to increase the numbers on the MOG to 7 rather than 6? Then that way you don't have an even number, and is that something that can be done?
Yeah, we can do that if members are in agreement with that.
Councillor Clark.
If that's a motion and it needs a seconder, I think it's absolutely common sense.
I'd be happy to second that.
I thought that's what Councillor Clark was doing. Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's consensus on that, then we'll go to 7. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That takes us on now to item 6. The Director is withdrawing the report in light of new information and will resubmit it to the meeting of Angus Council to be held on the 25th of June 2025. That takes us then on to item 7, Common Good Funds Projected Funding Applications. And this is a report from Graham Daly.
Thank you, Convener. This report advises members on 6 common good funding applications that have been received and seeks committee approval to support the projects, subject to conditions where appropriate. Details of the 6 funding applications are contained in Appendix 1 of the report. Local elected members' views were sought regarding the funding applications, and the responses are noted in Appendix 1. It is highlighted to committee that one local member did not support the application to the Brechin Common Good Fund. However, one local member did support the application and another declared an interest. It should also be noted that 3 out of the 4 Forfar elected members did not support the application to the Forfar Common Good Fund from Gallows Shades Community Links. However, officers were satisfied that the application met the criteria for funding and that the applicant had satisfactorily responded to the request for further information. Finally, the report asks members to approve the Montrose Common Good budget bid for additional seating at Seafront Splash. This addresses an outstanding action from the previous meeting of Policy and Resources Committee on the 11th of March, as outlined in the report. Thank you.
Please bear with me. It closed itself down. Right. The first one is the application for Arbroath Common Good Fund, which is in the appendix. Do we have any questions on the application from Arbroath Common Good? No? Any comments? Councillor Cowdy.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I really appreciated the extra information and effort officers went to provide me with some extra detail to address concerns I had about this. So yeah, I just want to say I really appreciated that. Thank you.
If there are no other comments, then do we... Oh, sorry, Councillor Speed.
Right, yeah, I just really wanted to show my support for this application. I think the autism rugby sessions help ensure that no matter how people experience their world, this sport provides the opportunity for them to feel seen, heard and empowered. That's exactly what Strathmore Rugby Club is achieving with their successful autism rugby sessions in Angus. I just think it can't be underestimated just how this opportunity will help improve health outcomes for people with autism. So I absolutely give my support, especially in light of CAMHS's withdrawal of their services. I think this really is a key opportunity and moment for people who may be struggling and not know where to turn. This sport certainly would give them the opportunity to have an outlet. So, yeah, fully agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Speed. If there are no others, do we agree? This one? Agreed. Well, it appears, sorry, we have to go back to item 5. I've missed something, which is the appointment of convener and vice convener of subcommittees. And Mrs Forsyth is going to come in on this one. Sorry.
Thank you, Convener. Just in relation to recommendation 1 within the paper, we require the appointment of conveners and vice conveners of each of those subcommittees. So I think it would just be helpful if those nominations could be moved and seconded based on the membership that Mrs Doak will have.
Okay.
So the Executive Subcommittee, we have Councillor Meehan, Councillor Wan and Councillor Duff.
I propose Councillor Meehan. Seconder.
And
a vice convener?
A vice convener.
A vice convener. Councillor Wan. Yeah.
Councillor Wan, I think. Yeah, that would be normal
Councillor
practice.
Wan. Seconded by Councillor Mickle.
And then we have the Appeals Subcommittee. Membership is Councillor Meehan, Councillor Proctor and Councillor Duff.
Again, Councillor Meehan.
Councillor Proctor.
Sorry, Councillor Proctor.
Then we have the Appointments Subcommittee. We have Councillor Meehan, Councillor Wan, Councillor Proctor, Councillor Duff, Councillor Bell and Councillor Whiteside.
Sorry. Our proposal is Councillor Wan. And Vice, myself, Councillor Meehan.
And then the Grant Subcommittee, we have Councillor Meehan, Councillor Nicholl, Councillor McLaren, Councillor Duff, Councillor Beattie and Councillor Bell.
Want me to be the chair? Yeah, okay, I'll be the chair. Thank you.
Seconder.
Then we have the Non-Domestic Rates Appeals Subcommittee. We've got Councillor Meehan, Councillor Wan and Councillor Duff.
Councillor Duff.
You're giving me all the difficult ones.
Sorry, if I could just interrupt, convener, in terms of the composition. The Appeals Subcommittee shall comprise 3 members of this committee, including the convener and vice convener. Sorry, I've just lost that. Convener and vice convener as convener and vice convener of the subcommittee, respectively. So that would be an automatic appointment. Apologies,
well.
Councillor Duff.
Oh, well, we did try.
Well, the Central Consultative Committee, the membership is Councillor Meehan, Councillor Wan, Councillor Doran, Councillor Proctor, Councillor Duff and Councillor Speed. So we would need to appoint.
So there's no rule on this one? On who should be? Councillor Duff?
I think it should be the council leader. That's the CCC.
Okay.
I would have thought so.
Myself, Councillor Meehan. Seconder. Councillor Wan.
Then we have Capital Projects Monitoring Group. We've got Councillor Gold, Councillor Meehan and Councillor Duff.
Myself, Councillor Meehan. Sorry, Councillor Wan, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just wondering, it was the question, Alois, who was after getting onto the capital monitoring group. Can this not be an increased group as well to allow a non-aligned on, or?
That would be a matter for council to determine. We would have to bring that back to members. It's currently in the scheme of governance at 3 elected members, so this committee can't change that membership.
Okay, thank you for that.
And then we've got the Governance Review Book, we've got Councillor Meehan, Councillor Scott,
The chair is the...
Councillor Gray, Councillor Duff,
Convener,
Councillor
is that not chaired by the legal officer?
Yeah,
in
the
that
chair.
committee?
The chair is the Director of Legal and Governance and Change.
Yeah. Okay.
That's us.
Done.
Normally, we like to support the local members on common good applications, but obviously this one's split in the 3 ways, effectively. Brechin, I think, or I believe, has a rugby club itself. Do we know if this is a complementary offering? Is there any links between Strathmore Community Rugby Trust and the Brecon Rugby Club, or have we had any correspondence between the two? You know, because we wouldn't like to think we're putting things that might step on toes or things like that. It seems like a really good thing, and I'd be inclined to support it, but I just wanted a wee bit more if there was on it.
That wasn't stipulated in the application, Councillor MacDonald. We assessed it based on the information that was presented in front of us. In saying that, I'm not aware of any conflicting issues, and it is quite a specific project. So I would hope that it would be supported by the wider rugby community, and definitely we've not had any representations suggesting not to be the case. And as you've seen, there is applications from Strathmore Community Rugby Trust for work across the whole of Angus, and clearly they have aspirations to support the whole of Angus. But yes, in terms of the application, there wasn't anything specific regarding the relationship with the local club.
Any other questions? We'll move then to comments. Any comments? Councillor Beattie.
Thanks, Convener. Yeah, I mean, when I saw this, I realised that this application doesn't really exclude the local rugby group from making applications to the Common Good Fund, and it seems to provide additional opportunity for young people at Brecon High School. So I'm happy to support this.
Thank you, Councillor Beattie. Any other comments? Okay, with that then, do we agree the recommendation?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. That takes us on to 3. Is 3 applications to the Forfar Common Good Fund. Do we have any? Councillor McLaren.
Yes, thank you, Convener. Regarding the fund application for Galashiels Community Links, I propose that we defer this application and have a site visit with local members to get a clear vision of the area and the issues in question. This visit would also be open to all members of the Policy and Resources Committee should they wish to attend.
Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Convener. And I forgot to say earlier, good morning, everybody. I would be in favour of this because when I was asked to look at it earlier, that was my thought then. It's not changed. I think in terms of transparency, etc., and fairness, it would be a good idea to do that. So I would support Councillor McLaren's thoughts.
Okay, with that, is there any other comments on that particular application? Or are we agreed that we will? Councillor Cowley.
Thank you. As Councillor MacDonald said, I am inclined to go with the views of the local members on this. My question was around, so queries were raised by elected members and these queries were answered by officers, I think I'm right in saying. I guess what you're saying is they weren't answered to your satisfaction without a visit. Would that be correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So are we happy then to defer that one? Yes? Okay. Thank you. In relation then to the other 2, if there's 3, are there any questions on those applications? Any comments on those applications? Councillor Clark.
Happy to support. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, with that, are we happy to agree then? Thank you. Takes us on to 4, which are the applications to the Montrose Common Good Fund. Any questions from members? No? Any comments? Councillor Duff.
Yeah, thanks, Convener. Yeah, I welcome this one. I'm supportive, as are the other 3 Montrose members. It's worth noting that it's leveraging in another 76% of funding from other sources. So although there's 21,000 going in from the Common Good, there is significant money going in from Museums Gallery Scotland. So I think it's a good use of Common Good money to leverage in further money from other sources. So I'm very supportive.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. Any other comments? No? With that, are we agreed? Thank you. And the last one, which is again Montrose, Seafront Splash. Do we have any questions on that application? Any comments? No comments. Do we agree that application? Agreed. Thank you. That takes us on to item 8, use of council land for the operation of car boot sales, and we have a deputation which we have agreed to hear. Thank you. I take it it's Ms Archer and Ms Ramsey. Yeah.
Yes.
If you would like to talk to the committee.
We would like to thank the committee for letting us address them about the Ardroth car boot proposals. Also, thank you for considering our application to hold them on a council car park. To give you a bit of background, Linda has organised car boot sales for about 20 years, and I've been helping her for about 7. We hold public liability insurance, and in March we sent 26 risk assessment and event forms for the year. We recognise that 6.12, that any site should be and is left in a clean and tidy condition. We always are at first to arrive to organise the traders entering it correctly, and one of us stays to the end to ensure the site is left clean and tidy. We give all traders entry fee to a different charity every Sunday. Linda has a list of charities and she discusses with them at the beginning of the year which Sunday is suitable for them. Last year we gave out £6,718 to different charities we support, on average £244 to each of them. This year, so far, we've given on average £171 to 9 different charities, the 9 weeks we have been operating. The charities have thanked us for helping them, i.e. the food bank was able to give more food in their shelves. The PDSA said they got more money on a Sunday from the traders' fees than they took in the week in the shop. The guide dog sent us a lovely letter thanking for the £500 donation we gave them. We operate from April to the first week in October, 26 weeks. Can we ask why the committee is limiting the events to 13 times a year? We did our research before we started to talk to the council. We also spoke to Edsall car boot organisers and the Ardroth market to gain advice. Back in March, we were told we could use a parkland. It was suggested the area along from Tutty Nooks, opposite the old Seaforth Hotel, as we could get passing trade and the toilet nearby. But we were concerned about the public parking and having to cross the busy road to get to us, and also the traders crossing the road to go to the toilets. So we decided on Inchcape Park in Ardroth. I asked a friend to walk to the toilet and he came back with 7 minutes each way, which we thought was not too bad. And the public can park and access us safely. But a car park would be more accessible to wheelchair users and prams than on the grass that we operate at the moment. The grass caused a trader's vehicle to get stuck on Sunday due to the weather. The openness of being at Inchcape can be a bit windy, so if we were able to relocate to the car park, it would give us a little bit more protection from the weather and be more central for the general public to visit us. We have asked Morrisons and Tesco's if they have any objections to us being so close to them. They have replied no. It will help them with passing trade and the traders come in to get food and drink. We accept the admin fee, but can we clarify if the new rate of £100 is a one-off admin fee at the start of the bookings or a weekly event fee? As a weekly £100 fee would dramatically affect our fundraising total for the charities we support, i.e. traders collected on the day £135, then £100 would go to the admin fee and the charity would only get £35. The fee would also affect any other organisation wishing to group book fundraising events in any Angus town. We are a small car boot sale, on average 22 traders every Sunday. We have booked for 26 events for this year. The 6.2 states additional criteria should now be applied. Please can this be additional criteria start in 2026? Our car boot sale also supports the general public of Angus who come to buy their items they require in their time of financial difficulties. Families escaping domestic violence from north of England and the whole of Scotland are housed in Arbroath, and they come and buy from us. We are in the top SIMD, and there are 4 areas in Arbroath. We are so happy to hear that Angus Council are supportive to community-based organisations to raise funds to help good causes in Angus and help Angus citizens. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you very much for that. There are a few questions there. I'll just check if I've got them correct. It's the limit to the 13 events was one, the car park proposal, the admin fee, and can the additional criteria start in 2026? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Graham?
I'll try and address each of these points, and thank you for raising them clearly. In terms of, I think, tackling the reason for the 13 events, this was primarily to manage any potential, and I would stress potential negative impacts on the surrounding area and also impacts on our land. I think, as you mentioned yourself, vehicles getting stuck in the land, and it does have its impact on our parks when we have these events. So managing the frequency of number just mitigates the potential negative effects, limiting it to 13 events per year at each location. A maximum of 13 events per year, this equates to allowing an event every 4 weeks, so approximately every month. And we know from other car boot sales, a long-standing example being the car boot sale in Edzell, that it is held in a frequency of every month, and I would suggest it's relatively common practice of a monthly car boot sale. I think the reason it was put forward was that it does avoid potentially a park getting booked up throughout the year for car boot sales, potentially discouraging other groups from booking the park because they feel that, oh well, the car boot sale they've got, even though it's open to anyone, they feel a long-standing, fortnightly booking relationship at a park, then potentially it could discourage other groups from coming forward. I do accept there's no necessarily right or wrong answer here, and we did apply a degree of judgment in terms of what we consider best, but those are the reasons that we have put forward 13 events that we do feel is sufficient and hopefully still provides an opportunity to deliver all the benefits that you've outlined in your deputation.
Yep. Graham, sorry to butt in, but remiss of me, the questions actually should be coming at this stage, not to yourself yet, but from members to the deputation. Sorry about that. And we have the first one from Councillor Cowdery.
Thank you very much for your deputation. I just had a couple of related questions. I think you were describing how the money is distributed to the charities. Just for clarity, the fees that the traders pay, do they all go directly to the charity of your choice? And then just as a end bit of my question, are you running it all on a volunteer basis, or are you making money as well? Thank you.
No, we are just volunteers. We don't make any money. The money goes to the charities.
I think that's really good to make that clear. Thank you very much.
Councillor Duff.
Just for clarity, and apologies if I didn't understand your presentation. Your interest is only on one site, isn't it? You're only holding car boot sales on one particular site in Arbroath. Is that right?
Yes, we only operate in Arbroath.
Right. Okay. That's clear. Thank you.
Any other questions from members? Yeah, Councillor Cowdery.
Thank you. Been very kind and giving me a second question. If you could just give an overview of the kind of traders that are at your car boots. Is it people just selling second-hand goods, for example, or would it be small craft businesses and other businesses? Thank you.
No, it's generally just second-hand people. We have a charity who come along and sell. It's the Abandoned Dogs Rescue. They come along and try and sell some bits for making some more money. But generally, it's just all people themselves.
Any other questions from members? No? Okay, with that, sorry. Councillor MacDonald.
Sorry, Convener, I was trying to think of how I phrase this. So to be clear, you're holding a weekly car boot sale in Arbroath, but you're not, are you the group that requested the use of the Bruce House car park?
Yes, I requested the Bruce.
Yeah, and so with that, you mentioned that you'd spoken to sort of Morrison's and Tesco's, because the difficulty we have here is, wait a minute, because we're not allowed to express a view yet. Have you asked Morrison's, for example, if their car park would be suitable? Because the reason I mentioned that is in the council papers there, it was the request of Bruce House that specifically brought this to our attention, which means why we're looking at it. Are there other options for you in Arbroath potentially that aren't on council land that would be suitable? So I'm thinking Morrison's car park's never really full, but Tesco's maybe is, so it's that kind of way.
No, we were in Morrison's car park, and Morrison's head office put out a ban on car boot sales due to something happening elsewhere. Morrison's were very happy with us. We left it always clean and tidy, and they got a lot of trade. So we had to move out of Morrison's car park because the head office brought in the ruling that the community champion has to be out in the car park all the time that the car boot's on, and she has a young family and she can't work every Sunday. When I was talking to Morrison's about if they objected us to be in the car park, I spoke to the manager, and she's going to try and clarify if it has to be the community champion or if it just has to be a member of working and employed by Morrison's. We spoke to Tesco's, but obviously their car park's not very big. We've been to Lidl's, we've written lots of letters to Lidl's, but they've never come back to us. We spoke to Angus Council, and we spoke to the college. I wrote a letter to the college, and they were going to send it on, but I think with the college maybe moving, they haven't come back with a yes or a no. We've been around quite a lot of places in Arbroath. Arbroath Football Community Trust to try and get seating the grass area up by Mayfield, but they said due to them having football and rugby on a Sunday morning, it wouldn't be suitable. And that's when we thought, well, we'll ask the council if we could use the car park because it's not used on a Sunday because Bruce House is closed.
Any other questions from members? No? Okay, we'll move back then. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for your deputation. It's been very interesting. I'm sure we've learned a lot that we didn't know, we now know. But that's all we need from you at the moment. So you can actually just take your seats back if that's okay. And we'll continue, obviously, discussing it. We'll now move back to yourself, Graham, if that's okay. The second one was car park proposal, I think, was it?
Thank you, Convener. This report outlines proposed conditions for the use of council land for car boot sales with the aim of supporting community groups and voluntary organisations with their fundraising. The implementation of the proposals contained in this report may generate a limited amount of additional income for the council. However, the principal aim is to recover administrative costs while enabling charitable and community-based organisations to raise funds in support of good causes. Members are asked to note the addendum to the report, which was circulated and published yesterday. This advises members of representations received following the publication of the report and recommends that the committee notes that condition 3 will be removed from the list of criteria should they approve the recommendations of the report.
Are you happy, Graham, you've covered all those points? Okay. With that, I'll move then to comments.
Questions.
Questions. So, questions. Councillor Speed.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wondered if you could clarify in terms of the £100 payment, if that is an annual payment or if that, you know, the council would be expecting that to be every week, because that clearly would be an issue.
Yes, happy to clarify. It would be for each event, so it wouldn't be a weekly payment. It would be similar to just now if you take a park booking. So if you take a park booking as the Arbroath car boot sale just now, they pay for each time they make a booking. So it would be each time they make a booking. It wouldn't be an annual fee.
Okay. And I think currently, though, is it every time that a booking's made, or is it an annual fee? Sorry, I'm asking you, Mr. Daly. Sorry, it's for yourself. I realise it. It's, yeah.
Yeah, it should be the case of each booking, a charge is applied for each booking.
May come back, if that's okay, because...
Okay, yeah, come back.
Yeah, I don't think that has been the case, just through discussions I've had previously with the car boot sale organisers, that it hasn't been every time they hold an event. It usually is more of an annual fee. Is that... I appreciate perhaps can't involve the deputies at this point, but it would be good to get absolute clarity on that, because I don't think that that is perhaps been the arrangement.
I'm happy to come back and clarify, Ben, but I do know that it's that we don't apply annual fees for park bookings to groups, and I don't think we ever have done that. I know it's only been in operation for around 8 weeks, I think you said, so quite happy to review the case, but as far as I'm aware, we've never applied an annual fee to a group for a park booking.
Okay, we'll move to question from Councillor Wan.
Thank you, convener. I'm still a bit lost. Maybe I'm being a bit daft or just not picking it up because I'm virtually on this meeting. But Graham, can I ask you to clarify that again? If for example, they were to book the 13 or 26 car boot sales, that would cost £100. Is that right? If they did it in one go.
Yeah, so if they're booking up front for the entire year, yeah. Again, I think I will check with my parks colleagues to make 100% certain, but I would say the way it's written just now and the way it's always been written, it is applied for each event or each booking. And I would suggest that is the fair way to do it, because obviously if they're booking up the park, it's preventing us taking another booking, potentially. Therefore, I will double check that with our parks colleagues to make sure we have been applying it, but the way it is written just now, it would be per booking.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. Can I come back in, George, as well?
Yeah, just hang on one moment. Yeah, that's obviously a fairly important question that needs to be answered, you know. So clarity on that would be helpful. Councillor Wan, do you want to come back in?
Yeah, that was supplementary, if you don't mind. Just after listening to the deputation, Graham, obviously when we read this at pre-agenda, not being a car boot fanatic myself or hardly ever attending them, I wasn't aware that, you know, maybe they were every week or it was the same people doing it every week. Now, if we are sitting here today hearing that they booked 26 events from the 1st of April to whatever it is in October, is there flexibility, or once we agree this, is it 13 and that is it fully done, or can there be exceptions? Can it be looked at? I know we're trying to get a policy in place, so I'm kind of saying let's put a policy in place and let's go against it the next day. So it's probably a very simple answer for you, but it's not something I think I was really sighted on and actually worked out the workabilities of car boot sale before actually looking at this paper.
maybe refer to my colleagues in committee services or legal, but I would say that I think that would possibly be amending what's currently in the report. I think the report does quite clearly state that a limit will be applied of a maximum of 13 events per year, but I'll just invite my colleagues to come in maybe for clarification.
Can I maybe suggest, I mean, there's an important point here, so I think maybe a short recess would be helpful for you to actually clarify that. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Have people agreed to that? Yeah? 20 minutes, okay? Yeah, okay. 20 minutes? Okay.
Hi, John. Can you pause the live stream, please?
Welcome back, members, and anyone watching us. Given the questions that have been raised and that this would affect much more than Arbroath, I propose that we actually defer this to a future meeting where a lot of this could be tidied up. Are members in agreement? Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, seconder. Councillor MacDonald. Yeah, as you heard there, sorry, we've deferred the decision on this to a later date, but thank you very much for your deputation and for providing the information that you did. It certainly cleared up a few things for us, but there's some other work we're going to have to do before we come back. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. We'll just get Councillor Durno back in. We'll start again shortly. We're just waiting to get another member back in. I think they need to use the lift. We're actually going to proceed, and hopefully we'll catch up with Councillor Durno. Oh, we're on live stream. Great. That moves us on then to item 9. Update on Tractor Shed, Commerce Street, Brechin, and Municipal Buildings, Bank Street, Brechin. And again, we have Mr Daly talking to this report.
Thank you. It was agreed at the Policy and Resources Committee on 30th of January 2024 that the Tractor Shed, Commerce Street, Brechin, and the Municipal Buildings, Bank Street, Brechin, be declared surplus. I was tasked with bringing a report back to the committee on the proposed future uses of the property and associated consultation to be undertaken. This report updates the committee on the status of the two properties. Members are asked to note that it is proposed that the Tractor Shed be sold to the neighbouring business, subject to the outcome of the consultation exercise, and that the former Access Office and Municipal Buildings are now being marketed, with any future use also subject to the outcome of a consultation exercise. Thank you.
Members have any questions? Councillor MacDonald and then Councillor Beattie.
Thank you, Convener. In relation to the municipal buildings, Graham, we've obviously had a change in policy since this was declared surplus to requirements. We're marketing Angus House, and we are looking at sort of changing the way the council structures itself. In terms of our sort of property portfolio, is this still the sensible position to be in, or should we be looking at all of our estate and the options that we potentially have going forward with regards to what's happening at Angus House?
As part of that report that was brought forward regarding the marketing of Angus House, The wider estate was taken into consideration in terms of suitability, and I confirm that I don't foresee this has any relevance, and I think it still applies that we proceed with the making the surplus, and as noted in the report, it is actually been progressed to marketing.
Councillor Beattie.
Yeah, thanks, Convener. Yeah, when we've spoken about surplus properties before, you've usually been able to give us an indication of which properties would be, are quite marketable. Has there been anything about the municipal buildings in Brecon that says that this building is marketable? Because it's very specialist inside with the, with the old court room and and the actual makeup of the building and the flat on the top. Is there any indication that this would be a marketable property?
Yes, you're quite right, Councillor B. It is quite unique, particularly with the courtroom, as you said. We haven't done any form of assessment on, in terms of the marketability. Obviously, it's a bit, as you said, it's quite unique, so therefore there is uncertainty. It's hard to find a similar property given its uniqueness. But in terms of doing the marketing exercise, that is the best way to actually clarify the interest that is out there. But to answer your question directly, we haven't had any kind of formal advice in terms of the likely interest in the property.
Any other questions from members? Any comments? No Councillor Wan.
Sorry, George, mine was a question. I just got it up just as you said, can we go into comments? Can I just ask Mr Daly again, when was this originally put in the market? Or how long has it been on the market?
Relatively recently, we put the instruction to our agent to put this to market. Only a few weeks ago, the instruction was given. As said in the report, it was declared surplus in 2024, meeting of policy and resources. And again, as said in the report, has been delayed just due to some staffing issues within our asset service. But the instructions to market it was only a matter of weeks ago. So yeah, it's very early stages in terms of the marketing.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Duff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sort of tangential comment, really, just to remind the convener and Mr Daly that we did have arranged a tour of the council estate in Forfar, and I think that would still be a useful exercise to carry out for elected members, just to see what's available in Forfar. I accept this is a Brecon issue, but I'm just as a reminder that it might be worth pursuing that. I think there's a lot of interest from elected members in having a look at that.
Thank you, Councillor Duff. Any other comments? Councillor Beattie.
Yeah, just one. I really do worry about whether this building's just going to sit there because of the unique design, and there are features within the building that would be a shame to see absolutely ripped out. Some of the woodworking in there is excellent.
Thank you. Any other comments? With that, then we will move to the recommendations. There are 4 recommendations, all for noting. Do we agree to note? Thank you. That takes us to item 10 and stopping the live stream.
Hi, can you stop the live stream, please?